It was back in August of 2012, and Teresa Cook lay dying in a hospital bed in Nashua, New Hampshire. She was in the final stages of pancreatic cancer, and by her side was her 21-year-old grandson, Brandon. And Brandon was trying to do whatever he could to make his grandmother as comfortable as possible in her final days. And one of the most devastating things about pancreatic cancer is that it causes rapid weight loss and takes away the appetite at exactly the time the body needs strength to fight the tumors. And so Brandon was trying to get his grandmother to eat something, but she was resisting. She said, "This hospital food is awful. I want no part of it." But Brandon persisted and persisted. And eventually Teresa said, "Well, there is one thing. If you could get me my favorite food, I'd give that a try." He said, "No problem, grandmother. I'll get right on it. What would you like?" She said, "I could really go for a bowl of clam chowder and a bread bowl from the Panera bread shop." Brandon said, "No problem. I'll get right on that." He got on the phone and called up the Panera bread shop on Amherst Street in Nashua and said, "I'd like to pick up a bowl of clam chowder and a bread bowl this afternoon for takeout." There was a long pause in the line. And then they said, "I'm sorry. During the summer, we only make clam chowder on Fridays. Could you give us a call back on Friday? We'll take care of it then." And Brandon said, "No, you don't understand. You've got to make an exception. My grandmother is very ill. If we don't get some food in her, she may not be with us on Friday." So the manager got on the line, Susan Fortier, and she didn't miss a beat. She said, "No problem at all. You come right over, and we'll have the clam chowder ready for you when you get here." And she did have it ready. And in addition, she put together a box of cookies for Brandon. She says, "There's no charge for any of this. You just let us know how your grandmother's doing. If you need more clam chowder, we'll be here for you." And he did let her know, because Teresa Cook had more clam chowder on Friday and the following Tuesday. And it wasn't until Saturday, August 18th, that Teresa Cook quietly passed away with her family by her side. Clam chowder had sustained her for perhaps another week. And it was just a bowl of clam chowder, and it was just another week. But for Brandon and his grandmother, it was literally a matter of life and death, one they would never forget. And it turns out there are a lot of other people that would never forget either. Because on that first Tuesday, Brandon sent a little thank you note over to the folks at the Panera Bread Shop. And he sent that thank you note on his Facebook page. And what do you imagine happened next? Within a few days, over 800,000 people around the world had liked that post. Nearly 35,000 had posted comments. And many of them were Panera employees saying things like, "This is why I'm proud to work at Panera. We do things like this in our store every week." Moms saying, "We don't have a Panera in our town, but when we do, we'll be going there." Others saying, "This is why our kids will be going to Panera this evening for dinner." So it begs the question, what accounts for this tremendous outpouring of emotion and action? Was the quality of the clam chowder, the speed of the service, location of the store, the price? No, of course not. It wasn't any of those things. It was a genuine, compassionate act of warmth towards another person. And contrary to everything we've been taught in life, we are much more programmed to respond to demonstrations of warmth than competence. Despite that we've been taught that all of our success in life comes only from our competence, the reality is warmth is the dominant driver of our emotions and our behavior. And so despite there's nothing but 5 lines of text, not so much as a photograph, it moved hundreds of thousands of people. We don't have to think about it. If you felt anything at all when I told that story, you hear it, you feel it, and it moves us. That's warmth and competence at work. So what we can take from this, stories and research, is that people were actually the first brands. Faces, the first logos. All the branded trade and commerce we've engaged in over the last several thousand years has simply been an adaptation, the way we were wired by evolution to interact and form relationships with one another. And so in fact, we can say every human is a brand and every brand is human. The way our brains perceive, interact, and form loyalty to them is exactly the same.